Now, I helped create the character. I did the whole performance. Yes, I did say it's a trap. But when you're doing the animatronic suits, the sound of the servos whirring, the fact that you're buried under the set, your voice can only be a guide track and can't be used for the final thing. Now, George Lucas, being such a poor man, I was in England, they edited it in California. He couldn't fly me 6,000 miles just to spend the hour in the dubbing theater. So Eric Baversfeld is the man you hear say, "It's a trap."
Now, what advice would you give someone that's wanting to get into puppetry?
I took a load of my buddies. We all went to see The Lord of the Rings, and we had been working for Henson's Creature Shop in London at the time. And we watched Gollum on the film, and I turned to them and I said, "Look guys, it's too late for me, I'm too old, but you're still young enough to learn something else to do for a living." So since that time I've decided I was a little too pessimistic, and there is still the possibility for puppets. But ironically, it's I think that if you were getting into puppetry now, the real place that puppets are still alive and thriving is out in the real world, in theater and interacting with people, because that's the one place where CG can't compete with us. Because it just ain't really there. It isn't real, where we can go out and meet the public and interact.
Yeah.
It's a trap!
What was your inspiration with getting into the field that you love? Was it purely because you loved doing it, or was there someone that you looked up to?
I went to this couple. They were quite an old couple when I was young, and they used to do the marionette shows around the schools. You know, they do touring shows. So I knocked on their front door and said, "Hi, I used to see you as I was a little kid, and could you teach me how to make a puppet?" And they invited me in and took me downstairs, and their cellar was their workshop. And they had marionettes all in bags hanging on the wall that went clear back to the early 20s. And it was like an Aladdin's cave. That if there was a single moment, that was the moment when I just said, "That's what I want to do." Look at it, an entire lifetime just spent creating these fabulous objects and then bringing them alive. So it's a trap.
This is going on line of conventions as
Yes.
well as Admiral Ackbar. Now, on average, if you had to make a guesstimate, how many times per convention would you be asked to do the voice, "It's a trap"?
It depends on the size of the convention.
It
It goes up geometrically with the size of the convention, yes. No, a lot of them like saying it to me too.
Yeah. So it's more of just the joy of saying it to
you. You'll be talking to somebody at your table, and there'll be somebody just wandering past who glances over and sees you. "It's a trap!" And then they go running off to the convention. It's a trap!
You've worked in quite a few different things, like there's been a bit of sci-fi, a bit of fantasy and stuff in there as well. What would be the favourite genre for you to work in, be it building animatronics, puppets, or performing in as well?
I like the fantasy stuff. I don't like doing horror films and that, we did this thing once where we had to make a big 50-gallon drum that was full of the Kensington Gore blood and pressurize it, so when the guy gets his head chopped off, you get this 50 gallons of blood. And I was just there going, "Excuse me, but there's only 8 pints of blood in the human body, so why do we need 50 gallons coming out the neck?" And it doesn't do it for me. I like things where we can just run away and have nice fantasy. It's a trap!
Now, I know you finished up quite a few different things. I know you did some work on the latest Muppets movie as well.
I did, yeah. The next one to come out.
The next one next week, I think it was here.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice and close. Have you got anything else in the works at the moment? Anything you're allowed to talk about?
Well, I just bought one of these little iPad Air things, right? So I could pick up my emails when I'm on these things. And I've got this guy who I've worked with before who desperately wants to talk to me, but you got to do the NDP, non-disclosure form. So he says, as soon as I sign the NDP form and send it back, he can talk to me. I said, I got no way to download it, so I can't sign it. So I could be working on something really fabulous, but I wouldn't have a clue.
Thank you very much for letting us speak to you, Tim.
You're welcome. Nice meeting you.